The Eagles finally showed off their new look offense in front of a ton of fans last night, and, well, it looked way better than expected, with Jalen Hurts in total command, DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown looking really dominant, but also the forgotten piece of this offense ended up stealing the show. Plus, rising backups earning even more reps, and the defender A.J. Brown said would be a key part of their success this year. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. The Eagles' lone open practice at the Linc every season is really your one time during training camp to actually get a chance to see really how the team is going to look. No tweets from reporters, no random clips of drills dropped by the Birds social media team, just straight up Eagles offense versus Eagles defense in front of thousands of people. And by thousands, apparently 50,000 of you guys showed up last night to get a sneak peek of a football team that is 35 days away from their Week 1 opener. And as Nick Sirianni called it beforehand, this was going to be their longest and most physical practice to date, with 2 days looming over the weekend to go ahead and relax and recover before a crazy next week of games and practices and a whole bunch more. Now, the night started with the players running onto the football field, which started to pump up the crowd, and then Saquon Barkley ran onto the field, and boy, seeing number 26 in Eagles green at the Linc had everybody going absolutely nuts. Oh, and speaking of running backs, if you didn't watch my show just the other day, I'm giving away this right here, a signed, if you can see it, Brian Westbrook jersey once we hit 60,000 subs. We're getting very close. Subs are going crazy, so if you want to win this, hit the sub button right now. Also, tune in for Monday's show. We're going to sweeten the 60K giveaway deal, maybe some tickets. Just wait. Go down below in the comment section. Which game would you go to if you go to any Eagles game this year? Curious what you guys say. Drills were up first, as they always do during regular practice, and of course you got running backs working ball security drills, or wide receivers running the pass catching line. We also got a little bit, not full speed, but still, Jalen Carter versus Mekhi Becton here, one-on-one to start the evening, and Carter obviously looked as good as ever. Something Brandon Graham mentioned in his pre-practice press conference just before taking the field, this guy and Jordan Davis are going to be insane this year.
And man, I think Jada's gonna be a good one. I think Jordan Davis gonna prove on why he was the first round pick from 2 years ago. And then of course JC, I'm excited for him too, because going from year 1 to year 2, you already see just how much the fire burning in him to know that he can get so much better and he can, be a terror of this league, him and Jordan. But it's all lip service right now. We got to go out there and do it. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from the young guys so far. And, I just can't wait to see what they do in these preseason games.
Now, Carter was in the backfield a bunch, but a real highlight play came during this 11-on-11 drill, for example, where he blew up the left guard, I assume Mekhi Becton, and got in the backfield. Good stuff, typical stuff here from JC. Then, of course, the real stuff started. 11-on-11s, first-team offense, first-team defense, drive after drive after drive, and the first drive looked about as promising as possible, starting with, how about this, pre-snap motion, and then a pistol handoff to Saquon. Then, of course, a designed quarterback run, those aren't going away anytime soon, from Jalen, followed by the beautiful pocket movement you see here, and how about the deep ball, A.J. Brown to get the Birds down to the 1. Now, I believe this is Slay on the coverage. All Eagle DBs are wearing these long sleeves, so a little bit hard to tell, but Brown did mention in his presser that the other starting cornerback tonight, which was Isaiah Rodgers, not Keely Ringo, has been absolutely incredible in practice and will be a massive part of the Birds defense this year.
Man, I stated earlier, I don't know when I stated this, but he's been doing a really good job for a guy that hasn't played football over a year. It looked like he hasn't missed a beat. He's challenging me every time I go against him. When I watch him on film, you can just tell, like, he loves the game. You can tell he misses the game too, and he's hungry. So I'm excited for him. He's going to be a huge piece for us, give us some energy on the back end, so.
The Phillies offense would cap off their first drive with this perfectly designed touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert. More on him in a second, but overall, a great drive number 1. Now, the Eagles' second ones versus ones offensive drive started with the short pass to DeVonta Smith. Then, how about under center? Think about this, halfback counter run from Saquon Barkley. What are we doing? This is all brand new. Then, Britton Covey, who got his first-team slot reps of really the entire camp, had a nice catch here down the left side, followed by a really typical Eagles inside zone run to Saquon. Now, pre-snap motion would cue up a design run from Jalen Hurts right here, which was called short of the goal line. He did run to the end zone, but after a view, short of the goal line. And then more Smitty motion, moving over to the slot right here, opened up A.J. Brown across the middle. Key point there, down to the 2. 2 plays later, we had this very interesting design kind of roll out to the left, then throw back to DeVonta Smith, which didn't really work. But what worked all night long, stop me if you heard this, was another touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert. Now, worth noting, DeVonta Smith was in motion and really lined up in the slot almost the entire night and seemingly could not be covered, which has been happening a lot during training camp. And at this point, A.J. Brown, during his press conference, he issued a warning to all NFL defenders about the Slim Reaper and potentially going absolutely haywire this year.
I stated yesterday, nobody has been able to cover DeVonta all camp. He's been having an amazing camp. I think the offense is doing a really good job. Just trying to execute. It take all players. Jalen's been doing a great job as well. I'm expecting Smitty to take another jump. Because he definitely has all the tools, and for me, sitting on the side watching him, I know how hard he works. So it just makes everybody around him better. So that's what we want. So.
Now, the third 1-versus-1 drive started with some solid pressure from Nolan Smith to force an incompletion, and then Johnny Wilson in motion again to create a Saquon Barkley running lane. Hurts would then change the play at the line, also new in the Kellen Moore offense here, to a designed run from Saquon Barkley, which blew open on the right side for a big gain. Then some more Nolan Smith pressure that would force yet another throwaway. And by now, if you've heard Nolan Smith's name a couple of times, that's because he had a really good night last night, and really, since the pads have come on, has been incredible for the Eagles' defensive line. How about this play from another drive where he beats Lane Johnson, I mean, that's what this is, and forces Jalen to scramble out of the pocket. The big pressure to step up in year 2, I think, is starting to be answered from number 3. Now, long way to go, but still, his mentor BG seemed to agree with that it's going to be a much different year 2 from the former edge rusher from UGA.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait for him to show what's going on out there on the field, when it's time. I think everybody has done a great job this offseason just following their plan. Whatever it is that they had to do, they accomplished their goal. So that's so far so good, but now it's what we do with it. But Nolan definitely looking faster, looking more confident, and just can't wait for him to show what he's been doing.
Now back to that drive, the Eagles' defensive line created some more solid pressure here to force Jalen Hurts into yet another throwaway, but then a slant to Dallas Goedert will be capped off by this vintage Jalen Hurts scramble drill where he's running all over the field and finds, guess who, the Eagles tight end yet again for Goedert's third score of the night. I think last night we saw Dallas Goedert more involved in the Eagles offense than at any point during 2023. Like the Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni offense, they basically forgot about Dallas Goedert. That's no longer the case right now. And honestly, it kind of makes sense. Like if you're an opposing defense, you got to worry about A.J. Brown first, then Saquon and Smitty, Jalen Hurts' legs. Like who's going to be left to actually cover Dallas Goedert? And if you believe, say, Dallas Goedert himself, Kellen Moore is going to use 88 to his advantage more this year than ever before. Short passes, motion, long passes. It's going to be a special season for the star tight end.
I'm really excited. Early in my career, I caught a lot of short stick routes, over the balls, things like that. And, I still love running the deep routes, getting the deep crosses, the corner routes, things like that. But anytime you can get easy touches and, I like getting the ball in my hands and being able to run over defenders, use the physicality that way. So the short pass game is going to be really big for our offense, and it's just going to open up the down the field throws that Jalen is so good at.
Kellen Moore, I was thinking this morning, because I knew I was going to talk to you, I was like, tight end friendly, ? Is he? And then I looked. Dalton Schultz, second most targeted weapon on that offense under Kellen Moore. You guys have said that you watched that tape, that you guys are studying some of that. What's your relationship like with your OC?
He's been awesome. I've been able to spend time, get to know him a little bit. And like you said, we get to watch the old Dallas clips, the Chargers clips when he was there. And, same thing. It's like when I see Saquon, when I see those clips, I just smile because, Dalton Schultz did do a great job of getting the ball, turning upfield, making people miss. In the red zone, he likes to use the tight end. So all those are really exciting for me. Getting more touches, getting the red zone touches, things like that. It just kind of brings a new excitement into the building for the offense, and I think it's going to be really good.
Now, some other key takeaways. Johnny Wilson ran with the first-team offense a bunch last night. You might have noticed that from the highlights earlier. And despite me trying to tamper my expectations, I can't help but wonder if the Birds have finally hit on their long-desired, massive wide receiver prospect. We also got to see a little bit of Kenny Pickett for the first time, who of course ran with the twos, and made some solid plays, but did, not that big a deal, but still worth noting, throw the first interception of any Eagles quarterback so far at training camp late last night with a pick by Eli Ricks. Although technically, this throw here from Hurts earlier should have been an interception. It went right into Bryce Huff's arms. He just dropped it for a non-existent pick six. Defensive lineman doesn't have great hands, but still can't really blame Kenny Pickett totally here. Hurts has had 2 dropped interceptions now, so it's at least worth noting. Now, Will Shipley and Kenny Gainwell look pretty solid, both mixing in with the 1s on certain drives. We saw a lot of Shipley with the 2s as well. I think it's safe to say the Eagles will obviously rely on Barkley the most, but they're not afraid to go to their 3 deep now running back bench. Oh, and as far as Jalen Hurts as a whole, he was fantastic, minus the Bryce Huff throw. Final stats in the night, 19 of 24, 5 touchdowns, and, yep, stop me if you heard this, continued 0 interceptions so far throughout training camp. Now, of course, you'd think Hurts would be excited, but by now you know during his press conferences, it's all about business, it's all about getting better, and you won't see a smile across his face at all.
I think the focus has been just for me to do my job and do it to the best of my abilities. Understand what I'm being asked to do, have conversations about that, and then go out there and do it. And so I just keep the focus there, keep the focus on going out there and try to execute what we're doing.
I think the main takeaway from last night is if you were a little bit hesitant about the Eagles' hype on offense through the first couple of weeks of training camp because you needed to see it for yourself, well, I think you might be convinced the hype is real. I talked about a ton of individual players throughout the entire show today, but lost in all of that is the fact the offense as a whole, it looks completely different in the best way possible. Completely designing the Birds' bevy of stars into favorable matchups using pre-snap motion and exposed defensive weaknesses. I think Kellen Moore's the real deal. I know it's just based on one open practice, but at this point, if you're not as excited as me, I don't know what to tell you. I think we can get 1,500 likes on this show. Drop a thumbs up for the new look offense and the potential it has in 2024. Now, of course, the Birds are off the next couple of days. They're not going to have any sort of serious practice until Monday, but that means they're getting ready for what's going to be a crazy week next week. Practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then the Baltimore preseason game on Friday, which we're going to be broadcasting here. Bunch of new stuff indicated on that as well. We've hinted at that in the past. Stay tuned. Again, getting close to 60,000 subs for the giveaway, plus some tickets are coming. Stay tuned on Monday for that. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.